So let's start using it. Now we could just download it, but I think it makes sense, since this is a third-party library, that we use Bower if we can. So I'm going to do a quick search in Bower for Flexslider. So if I go in here and type Flexslider, I'm not seeing any changes here in the results. And we could type anything right now. At this point, while I'm recording this, it looks like the Bower search is actually broken. But there's another way that we can get information about a package. So if we go to our terminal and we open up a new window, remember we're using Compass Watch in one window and HTTP server in another window, we can do the command Bower info. And then typically we would type the name of the GitHub project, which, if we took note, was Flexslider. Now, if you get some greens here, it means that we can go ahead and use it. So let's do it. We'll do Bower install Flexslider, and we'll pass it the save parameter to add it to our bower.json. Okay, let's go to our directory, and let's just make sure that this worked okay. All right, we have Flexslider here, and so it is indeed downloaded. Now let's go look at some documentation about how to use this. So I'm going to go back to the home page for Flexslider, and we'll just scroll down until we get to the Get Started section. So it says Step 1, Link Files. So we need these in the head of our document. So it looks like we have a link to a CSS file, we have a link to jQuery, and Flexslider. So we've already included jQuery, so we don't need to do that. But when we include Flexslider, it will need to be after jQuery is included. So let's copy this and go to our code. And we'll jump up to the head of our index.html file. Let's paste it in. I'm going to remove the jQuery item. And now let's get our paths right. So jQuery Flexslider is what we want. There's a minified version, but again, we're going to minify it later using an automator tool like Grunt or Gulp. And keeping them unminified until that point will allow us to troubleshoot more easily. So let's adjust the path here. So it's going to be Bower components / Flexslider, and then our CSS is right here. So we'll do flexslider.css. Okay, and then we need our jQuery Flexslider as well. So we'll do Bower components / Flexslider / jQuery.flexslider.js. We'll save this. We'll jump back to the instructions, and it says to add some markup. So here's an example. It says to create a div, put an unordered list in it, and then each of your slides are going to be an li tag or a list item tag within that unordered list. It says specifically that the class for the unordered list should be slides. So let's just copy this so we can demonstrate that Flexslider is working before we try to muck up our existing HTML and CSS. And I'll go back to our index.html, and I'll go to the top of our body here, and I'll just paste in this code. Now we're not going to have these images, but that's okay. We should still be able to see it in action. And then finally, if we look at step 3, it says we need a little bit of JavaScript code in order to hook up our HTML to the JavaScript that's going to manage the slideshow. So we already have a script tag we can throw this in. So I'm just going to copy this, go over to our code, and paste it here after our select eyes code. And I'll save that. And it says step 4, tailored to your needs. So let's see if we have a working example. I'm going to scroll up to the top and refresh on our example page. And now you can see some activity here as we hover over this broken image. We have a back and forward button. We can click it in order to navigate through the slides. And so it looks like it's working. Let's add some bogus content here in our list items just to make sure that we're moving between the slides. So I'll call this first. We'll add some text second, and then third. Save it and refresh. Okay, so there it is. If we click next, we get second, third, and so on. Sweet.